So in our last class, we started styling the hero section. So in this video, let's continue working on this. So let's start with the slogan. So we're going to this particular section, we're going to give it an idea of slogan. Then we are going to use CSS and alter the styling. Let's go back to our index.html. So inside our index.html, so this particular div that is housing bank faster, better, and smarter with Bellbank. So let's add an ID attribute to it. So let's call it slogan. Okay. So let's go back to our CSS and add the styling. So we'll be using an ID selector, #, then slogan. Okay. So let's start. We'll be increasing the font size and we'll be changing the color. So let's say font size. So we're going to give it to be 3.5 em. Em is a unit of measurement too. Em. So let's send the color to be white. And the font width. So let's say bold. And the line height. We have already learned about that in our previous classes, so you can refer to the videos on CSS text so you get to understand the line height and see how it works. So let's save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh. So you see we have something like this. Okay, this design is not much more better. So now let's work on styling the experience banking ID best. Manage your finance with ease. So we're giving it an ID too. So we're going to give it an ID of hero message. So let's go back to our index.html. So let's give it an ID. Let's say ID. So let's call it hero message. Okay. So let's go back to our style.css and add the styling. Okay. So # hero message. Just like how you spell it over there. Just make sure you spell it correctly. So we're going to give it the color to be white. Not with white. Then the font size, we're going to have 0.9 em. Then the margin, so let's give it some margins. So let's say want margin top and bottom to be 4%, and we don't want any margin between right or left. So let's save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh. So you see we have something like this. Actually, the design is coming something similar to this. Okay, so now we see we are done with this particular section. So now let's try to work on the star div and the star div, for instance. So let's quickly start working on this before our time runs out. So let's go back to our index.html. So this particular div that is housing the stars, so let's give it this particular div that is housing the stars. So let's give it an ID of, let's say, star div, for instance. Okay, so in our CSS, let's go back to our CSS and style it. Okay, in our style.css, using the #, so we'll call it star div. Okay, so let's add this. We're going to give it some padding, and this particular border that you're seeing, this particular border will be creating it. Okay, so let's give it the border. We have learned about the CSS border, so it's going to be border left. So we want the width to be 3 pixels, and we want it to be solid, and we want it to be white. Okay, that's the color. And next we want to give it padding. So we want padding, top and bottom to be 1%, and left or right to be 2%. Then we want margin button. We want to just add some margin button, let's say 4%. And we want the text color to be white. And we want the font size to be 0.8 em. Okay, so let's save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh and see. So you see we have something like this. So in the next video, we're going to continue with the styling. At least you see we have improved the design. So in the next video, we're going to continue to meet in our next video.